So this is not new news, but if you're a user of the online cycling platform Zwift, you will have had that lovely email recently informing you of a 33% price hike. £12.99 a month to £17.99 in the UK, a £5 a month increase, and a similar increase of $5 a month in the US. Naturally, this resulted in a lot of social media angry chatter and an inevitable large number of rapid subscription cancellations by annoyed customers of the platform. Zwift led with the angle that there's been no price increase since 2017, which as a customer is welcoming. But if this has led the company to the sudden 33% increase to fund their plans going forward, the 7 static price years was probably not a good move business-wise, or ultimately for consumers. A stepped increase would have been better, I feel, and would have been understandable in the current climate if they arrived at this latest price now via a series of small increases over the last 7 years, resulting in more income for Zwift over those years and less animosity now from their customers. The fact that it was so sudden too was a gripe for many of you. If a monthly subscriber had had the opportunity to switch to an annual subscription before the price jump by being given some notice, many would have delayed the increase by a year by doing that. And in addition, Zwift would have had an increase in some income for some who possibly would have cancelled for the summer and may well now cancel for good in protest. So what is the future for Zwift and for those of us who like to use it? Now, they're not daft. Accountants will have done their sums, projected forecasts of how many cancellations they expect, and will have predicted the net result will be more income coming in. Companies don't make such decisions without clearly mapping the expected financial churn. We're in tough times financially, so a price hike here is no different to just about every other thing in our lives at the moment. When mortgage, rent, food and bills take precedence, leisure activities are usually the first to go. This might be the move that pushes people to cancel for this reason, but I imagine Zwift have factored in that many who might cancel because of the harsh economic climate currently may well have done so before already. You may not be aware that Zwift have seen over 200 redundancies across the last 3 years and the resignation of a co-CEO during the last round of redundancies. So is it possible the company's in trouble? There's no doubt their income must have fallen after the huge spike they encountered during the COVID lockdown that inspired a massive increase in cycling. But just like the rest of the cycling industry, that wave has hit the rocks and retreated back to sea. There are other bike companies having a financial wobble too. So cutting costs out of a business and increasing price are hallmarks of a company feeling the pinch of reduced demand, but can also be the hallmark of a company focusing more on what they're good at and increase income streams for more development in that area. They've already far reduced their planned hardware production, for example. So even if they are in trouble, they are, I feel, in a commanding position in their field and will survive going forward, even if it is by a company buyout, for example. It's too good to fall by the wayside, and here's why I think that. So what do they have? They have a user base far, far bigger than any rival platform and a worldwide loyalty fostered over many years. They were in at the beginning of the indoor cycling platform revolution. They have competition, sure, and whilst they will all find their own loyal base, I've yet to see any that are as good as Zwift. Some are pretty new and may well still be up in their game, like MyWhoosh or Indivelo, for example, which isn't a bad thing for Zwifters, because some of the talent that were made redundant by Zwift may well be helping these new platforms improve and develop, which gives Zwift no alternative than to speed up and continue their own improvements to help justify the increase in price. Zwift have also positioned themselves to appeal to a wide number of user types. There are those perhaps more serious cyclists who see it as a bit gimmicky, I just want to ride my bike and target my increased fitness. They're not interested in chasing badges, increasing XP, or spinning a wheel at the top of a climb to win a bright red berry or a Union Jack bucket hat. They see it more as a computer game. But those people are possibly the same people who always said indoor trainer cycling was too tedious and boring, staring at a brick wall, until the likes of Zwift came along. The computer game paraphernalia and the well-drawn worlds we cycle through help keep the mind off the more challenging side of pushing hard on a bike. Some of the rides I do are only about having some fun with the pals in the club I ride with whilst chatting on Discord and increasing my fitness in the bargain without it feeling like a chore or a workout. The variety is there too. In addition to the so-called gimmicks, there are workouts aplenty, a huge organised racing calendar, and of course the ability to ride alongside the professionals when they're on Zwift, as many often are. Although with me, it is a very fleeting moment hanging on to the rear wheel of Mark Cavendish for dear life. And I can only speak for myself and the club I'm part of, the Pack. Take a look at this video at the end to learn more about them. It has thousands of members, and I know a big proportion of those that ride with them on Zwift all year round, many who never actually ride outside at all for a variety of valid personal reasons, and the fun and friendship they get from staying with the Pack means they will stay with Zwift. But they don't wish to be patronised or taken for granted. Zwift have a huge loyal fan base that will stick with them for now, but the company absolutely need to provide continued and rapid improvement and expansion to justify the increased cost to these people, and possibly finding a way of reducing the cost for some, like a loyalty scheme or a family plan allowing multiple users from one household at a cheaper price per head. I've seen quotes, "Everybody's leaving Zwift." Come on, that's one heck of an exaggeration. Yes, my first reaction, like many others, was annoyed disgust. And yeah, I went straight to Zwift.com and cancelled my subscription. But hey, I was due to do that anyway for the warmer months. Who knows how I'll feel about it next winter when the dust has settled and hopefully new goodies have been introduced to the platform. And I don't think I'm alone with that. It's also said by many the timing was bad by increasing the price when seasonal demand actually drops. I think they were boxing clever, to be honest. The immediate reaction is always going to prompt cancellations. So why do it in the winter and lose customers who would have been staying on Zwift all winter? Much better to lose subscribers who are mostly cancelling anyway for the summer. They'll eventually possibly try other platforms, and no doubt many, or even most, will come back to Zwift, or at least take a look. That's how I see it playing out. But that timing means they are leaning most heavily on their most loyal year-round customers, who they take for granted at their peril. That's the crux of it all here. They must show something significant in the coming months to help justify this price hike to their most loyal fan base in particular. At the end of the day, is it still good value? A gym membership for me means going out in the rain and driving there, and it's nowhere near as much fun or convenient. Using Zwift a few times in the week in my garage, to me, is better value still than having a gym membership. Compared to other platforms, Zwift is more expensive. But, and it's only an opinion, they're not nearly as good. Those just starting out can't survive on offering free usage of their platform. They're clearly attempting to foster a new user base, and they're 10 years behind the likes of Zwift with that. Zwift have done a textbook move in an emerging business market by focusing on maximizing usage numbers in the early years and building a loyal fan base before eventually arriving at the subscription cost they think they need to continue to develop a platform worthy of being called the industry leader. This happens in countless industries over the years. Like I said earlier, if we'd arrived at $17.99 a month by gradual steps, I don't think we'd even be having these outraged conversations now. But, and this is the key, Zwift, you need to deliver to your loyal users through the summer and have something new for users like me to consider coming back to look at in November. I know for me that'll at least be on the cards. So that's my take on it. What's yours? Let me know in the comments below. Don't just tell me you're annoyed. I'm pretty sure you're all annoyed. But do you think you'll feel the same in 6 months? Subscribe here if you will by clicking on this yellow icon. Take a look at my website, obbcycling.com. And here's that video I mentioned earlier about Zwift and the pack. Happy cycling, and I'll see you soon.